Look at this, daylight savings. I don't know. What do you guys think of daylight savings? I got mixed feelings. It's nice to get up, and I like seeing sunlight when I get up, but I beat the sun up for, sounds funny, right? Like I beat the sun up. I've been awake before the sun decades. There was a time when I would commute to the clinics, and I would get up at 4 a.m. And that's nothing to brag about. You guys are all like, I get up at 2:30 and I do these crazy workouts. Okay, great. I just don't think that's anything to brag about. I think that's just you. Knock yourself out. Alex Hormozi, which I have a lot of respect for, right? Alex Hormozi gets up, doesn't make his bed, doesn't do all the things that this is your ideal morning routine. He locks himself in a box and works for 4 hours, and he takes his nicotine and he drinks coffee and he does the things he does, but he's incredibly successful. And I honestly think Alex is an incredibly intelligent man. And so is his wife, Aunt Layla. And I have a lot of respect for what they built and for how well they do it and how structured they are when they put businesses together. He's just got a gift. And he doesn't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I don't think it has anything to do with success. I think what has to do with your success is what you're doing every day. Is it moving you towards your goal or away from your goal? But that's just an observation. Anyway, daylight savings today, Sunday, November 2nd. I feel like I'm talking on a radio. I got a little bit of a frog in my throat right now. I don't know why. Maybe not enough coffee. Maybe the fact that it's 9:30 in the morning. I don't know. Oh, I've been up for a long time. Today is donut day. Sunday is donut day with my family. I've been doing donut day with my wife and kids for, I don't know, since our daughter's almost since she's been born, probably 6 months, 8 months old. And it's just become this crazy tradition. Like my son is always donut day. You say, what's Sunday? Church and donut day. That's how my family knows it. It's fun. But today I thought I would come out here. So I got a lot of questions yesterday and I dropped it yesterday at the end of the podcast, which was the biggest bang for your buck injectables. Now, listen, you guys that get in my comments and lose your mind and just get unglued going, what about this one? What about this one? I just put together the biggest bang for your buck based on the 3 primary failures of human biology that cause 99.9% of disease processes. That's it. So if you want to go down and go, these are the biggest bang for your buck for healing, for muscle gain, for fat loss, for cognitive function, for reducing cognitive decline, all that, those are all different things. These are the biggest bang for your buck all around. So you use them, you don't use them. I give you the information. I lay it out for you to play it out. That's just how this works. By the way, I have to say this because, of course, people lose their mind when it comes to giving real facts that have to do with real physiology. None of this is meant to be medical advice, to treat, to advise, to prescribe, to triage, to diagnose. It is only hypothetical. It is only entertaining and educational. And none of this is real. It's just me telling a bedtime story on a camera. There you go. If it's one of the dumbest things that I have to preface everything with. And if you understand that, then keep listening. If you go, wait a minute, I thought this was all like, listen, I don't know what to tell you. The world is a screwed up place where you are a profitable machine. They don't care about your health. They don't. And I don't care about what people's mouth is saying. I care about what their feet are doing. Where are they walking? I don't come out here and peddle anything ever. Like I said, I don't care. Buy from Elite Biogenics. I don't care. Join my black card. I don't care. The black card is a year. If you ask what it is here, because I got a bunch of emails yesterday going, what is it? I really want to join. It's a year. It's $59.97, $6,000, not $60. And that's going to change. And what happens after that year? I don't know. I know when all my slots are gone, it's going up to $25,000 to join and $2,000 a month. I keep opening up more slots because you guys keep asking and I want to help. Listen, you guys think I'm not doing this for the money. I made a ton of money doing a bunch of other things that have nothing to do with this. I'm doing this because I want the barrier to entry to be slightly higher. So I don't get people that come in and just do nothing but complain and want everything for free. And if you can understand that, then great. If you can't, then that's fine. I come out here every day and I give all I've got. And I bleed for you guys because I care. You got to do what you got to do. But I don't care. If you buy from Elite Biogenics, awesome. If you don't, go buy somewhere else. There's a bunch of other peptide companies. Go crazy. I don't care. Just I want you to have the educated background in yourself to know that you can make a decision not based on some slick marketing, but on the fact that you actually understand the facts. So do what you want to do. It doesn't matter to me. I don't come out here and go, but wait, I have a 15% off sale or anything like that. I don't care. And the black card is a 1 year, No, if you buy it, I'm not going to give you a refund because you just wasted my time. And honestly, I think you're just a scumbag when you ask for refunds. Anyway, I've never done it my entire life, ever. If I bought it, I made the decision to buy it. I have free will. So if you bought it and then you decide you didn't like it, you're an idiot, but you better suffer the consequences of making the purchase. That's it. If it's broken, replace it. And that's it. That's it. It's a live call. You get access to my Monday live call and you get access to the archive. And all of that disappears after the year. You don't get lifelong access or anything like that. And if you want to work one-on-one with me, that's a whole different conversation. You just email Amber, support@SpartanArmyLLC.com. That's going to change as well. But anyway, for the time being, that's it. There you go. Now there's your information, because I keep getting these. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? No, I just did. There you go. You have access to all the answers that I can give you. And it's the closest thing. No, you don't get me on a phone call. It's not one-on-one. I will get in the community every day and answer questions. But some guy bought it and goes, I thought I could get on one-on-one with you. Not for that. My one-on-one is $150,000 a year. And I have no problem saying it. In fact, it's going to go up to $250,000 a year. And it's going to go up to $250,000 a year as of January 1st. Because that's the level I want to play at. I'll just leave it at that. It doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks. And I will help people all day long in every other capacity I can. And I come out here and I give you everything I've got. So some of you guys that can't come together with that kind of finances, that's fine. I give you everything I have. So at least you have as much as possible. And I don't ask you for anything. I don't even ask you to grow my channel. That's what's funny. I don't go, okay, now make sure you tell your friends, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. I don't do any of that. If you want to, great. I'm not going to force you to do anything. I'm 52. I got better things to do with my life than chase people down begging for you to subscribe to my channel and make my YouTube bigger. If you want to, awesome. Then I feel I'm worth it. If you don't think I'm worth it, then don't. But I need you to understand. So yesterday I made a comment about the 3 people were coming unglued about, what if you don't like needles? Okay. So here, I got you. These are the 3, it's actually 5, but let me explain how that works. Oral compounds that give you the biggest bang for your buck. And this is the biggest bang for your buck across the board to solve a lot of health problems. And at the same time, make you lean and fit and muscular and effectively a dangerous human being. And dangerous to disease, become an inhospitable environment to pathology. Excuse me. Because I understand you guys, and I say this at the beginning of a lot of podcasts, but the most expensive lie and the most destructive lie that you guys have been sold is that health comes from a prescription or from a white coat or from I've been a doctor a long time. It doesn't come from me. I don't heal anybody. I give you the answers or I get the garbage out of the way and then your body does the work. But your doctor's entire practice is built on, it doesn't matter what kind of doctor. If they're trying to push things at a discount or constantly driving you to buy something or do something, I don't really think they care about you. But their practice is built on simple, profitable models. And it's always a model, the same one, manage the decay, manage the decline. I talk about this all the time. Lower the fever while the infection spreads. It's this concession stand that's selling Band-Aids at a giant chainsaw accident convention. That's how ridiculous it is. It doesn't make any sense to me. But what if you actually wanted to fix the body? Just think about that, right? Oh, my nose is itchy so bad right now. Allergy season here in Texas at the end of the fall, it gets really bad. But what if you actually wanted to fix the body, right? Not just slow the decline or manage the decline, but actually reverse it. Is it actually possible? Yes, in most cases, really it is. But they'll never tell you that because it doesn't make a lot of money. Could you imagine if I was a pharmaceutical rep or a pharmaceutical company? I would be a multi-billionaire by now. That's the ethics test, right? That's the ethics test. It doesn't matter how shitty or the mistakes you made or the dumb things you've done or whatever it is. I don't care about any of that. But your ethics test is what you're doing with the people that get in front of you that want your help. Are you actually helping them, or are you just peddling your wares? Are you just selling your product or service or whatever it is, and that's all you care about? I don't give a shit about any of that. I care that you have the information. But imagine if I was a pharmaceutical guy. I would be a billionaire right now because I would just talk all the time about pharmaceuticals and how great they are, but they're not. They cause problems. I just can't ethically do that. It bothers me. They'll tell you it can't be reversed, it can't be solved, and you just have to manage the decline for the rest of your life. And then, by the way, make sure you pay a bunch of taxes and piss all your money into the system and just get by paycheck to paycheck. And you should spend your days, I don't know, net whacking and watching movies and arguing with your spouse and hating on everybody on internet and sticking your nose in everybody else's business. I guess that's the world. You guys should watch this movie. It was called, it's with Luke Wilson. Luke Wilson's the dark-haired one. Anyway, it's called Idiocracy. It's an older movie. It just came on in the background yesterday. I went, holy crap, this is current life right now. In 2014, they predicted everything right now. You guys, it's the dumbest movie you'll ever see. Don't sit down and go, this is great. You're going to sit down and watch the movie and go, this movie's unbelievably ridiculous. And it's got Terry Crews in it. He's funny as hell, but it points at everything that's occurring right now. Just stupid people addicted to sex and porn, and everything's hyper expensive and everything is chemicals, and the big giant conglomerates buy everything, and that becomes the answer to everything because they control the outcome and the narrative. Like, it's just wild. Anyway, to build a biological fortress so robust that disease can't get a foothold takes a little bit of work. So if you understand the power of peptides, that's great. But you guys were like, what if I don't like needles? What about orals? So let me explain how this works. And there is a path. It's just not the same as what I talked about yesterday. An oral stack represents something that's a little easier, but remember, it's always subject to first pass degradation by the liver. So it's just gonna beat up your system a little bit if you do things too heavy, too hard. And especially if they're molecules designed to resist first pass, if they're pegylated or alpha alkylated 17 or anything like that, they're really hard on the system. I'm being very transparent about that. But this is probably the greatest single return on investment for your long-term health span. It's MK677 Cardarine, and then your choice between RAD 140 or Ostarine. Yes, I realize they're suppressive. I'll address that in a second. But RAD 140 versus Ostarine is dependent on whether you want something a little more mild or if you're female. If you're female, do not take RAD 140. Don't do it. But this isn't about getting jacked. This is about correcting those fundamental systemic failures that I talk about that underlie every major age-related disease that shows. I'm 52. My job is to get in the ring and go to war against the diseases that are trying to, or the decline that's trying to harm me, by making sure I'm as much of a juggernaut as possible. I'm just trying to give you the same answers. I like how I function. So if I can transpose that into your life, then you should go, damn it, thank you. This is what I do. There you go. You're welcome. The three: catastrophic insulin resistance, systemic inflammatory decay, and muscle deficiency. You can classify it almost as an androgen deficiency. So let me go over this kind of molecule by molecule with real physiology that your doc or your PhD or whoever it is you're talking to is never going to go over. MK677, and most people think this is just a growth hormone secretagogue, but you guys need to think bigger. MK677 is a ghrelin mimetic, right? It's a receptor agonist. It tricks your body into thinking that it's constantly in a state of needing to grow and repair. So it binds to the ghrelin receptors in the hypothalamus and the pituitary, and it stimulates very potently, I might add, the pulsatile release of your own endogenous growth hormone, which in turn upregulates IGF, right? Insulin-like growth factor 1 from the liver. But let me explain what this actually solves, because it's you got to go beyond the bro science that's floating around everywhere. So the hypothalamus is your metabolic master clock. I think I talked about this yesterday. So with age and poor diet and a lot of bad sleep and bad decisions and everything else and the chemicals that we put in our system, it becomes very leptin resistant and incredibly dysfunctional. So elevated IGF-1 crosses the blood-brain barrier and it has massive neuroprotective effects. So it improves hypothalamic function. That's just the beginning. But this isn't just about hunger cues. This is about restoring the central command of your entire metabolism. So if you look, 2013, there was a study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. It showed that MK670, this is so wild, showed that MK677 significantly improved insulin sensitivity in obese men by directly enhancing glucose disposal in skeletal muscle, right? In the muscle. It doesn't just lower, this is why you got to understand this. If you go, what makes you hungry and it works on insulin? Yeah, but listen to what I'm telling you. It doesn't just lower blood sugar. It makes your cells hear, listen, and they're normally, right now they're deaf to insulin. It makes them hear insulin again. That's a big deal because it's life altering. Growth hormone is profoundly lipolytic. So visceral fat just gets annihilated. It preferentially mobilizes visceral fat, adipose tissue, the dangerous inflammatory fat surrounding your organs, the stuff that we want to get rid of. This is not cosmetic. Reducing visceral fat directly lowers systemic inflammation. What do you think? What do I always talk about? IL-6, TNF alpha, right? Coming from the NF kappa B. Like all of this is a big deal. And it dramatically reduces your risk for cardiovascular disease and cancers. This is all stuff that should just be like red flags going, like bells going off in your head, because this changes your physiology to become more robust. The lean muscle mass preservation is a secondary benefit that bolsters your metabolic rate. That's why I'm explaining this, because people just only know the superficial aspect of how this stuff works. Look at your sleep. Increased growth hormone pulsatility, particularly during deep sleep, which is when all the repairs happen, accelerates tissue repair, collagen synthesis, gut lining integrity. You're not just sleeping better, you guys. You're entering a state of like Wolverine level nightly regeneration. So MK677 solves problem 1, which is metabolic and hormonal decline. Cardarine is the next thing on the list. So if MK677 fixes the software, then Cardarine is what's going to upgrade the hardware, the actual system. Cardarine is a very potent PPAR delta agonist. PPAR delta is this nuclear receptor that acts as the master regulator of fatty acid oxidation and energy homeostasis. So bear with me, I have to drink some coffee. I'm trying to sneak this in before my call this morning, by the way, so you guys are lucky. But this is where we get into real biochemistry. Here's what Cardarine actually solves. You have this ATP crisis, right? Adenosine triphosphate. This is the issue that, remember, it's the currency that everything runs on, the energy currency. You're just blinking, listening to this, breathing, sleeping, everything runs on this. The primary pathology of aging is declining mitochondrial function and, consequently, ATP production. Cardarine directly upregulates the gene involved in mitochondrial biogenesis and the ETC, the electron transport chain. So it forces your cells to become these little nuclear fat-burning furnaces that just churn out ATP, and it increases basal metabolic rate and ATP yield. So you get a big fat yield of ATP, so you have more energy. 2007, a study in Cell, the journal Cell, showed PPAR delta activation in mice caused this massive shift in muscle fiber type from fast twitch, which is glycolytic, to slow twitch, which is oxidative, making them this endurance powerhouse and radically improving whole body insulin sensitivity. Go back up to MK677. Now do you see how they work? That's why I'm telling you the biggest bang for your buck isn't always what you think. That's why understanding physiology and practical biochemistry really helps. So I'm just trying to give you the answers, man. Cardarine has a massive effect on lipid metabolism, increases HDL. Man, if you paired this with the biggest bang for your buck stack I talked about yesterday, hypothetically, your kangaroo would be insanely healthy and just a juggernaut, jacked, fit, powerful. All the disease processes that are ravaging everybody for the most part would probably never show up in your life. I'm just saying. And it doesn't cost you a fortune. It costs more money trying to solve the disease after it shows up. That's what costs more. That costs more time, more energy, more stress, and it causes a lot of problems. Why not just get in the way of it before it shows up? My opinion, I've been down the road of crappy health. You guys have seen it. I filmed every single day. It's not like I made it up. Some jackass out there is like, he made it up. It's a lie. Are you out of your mind? You think my wife snuck into the hospital, was locked out? I was sitting there hooked up to life support and ICU and getting surgery and tubes coming in. It was all manufactured. What a twit. There's the people that see this stuff and just go, wow, you know what I've learned? Talking poorly about others just discredits yourself. And it is. I don't really care. What I do know is life sucked when it was like that. Just the worst thing I've ever gone through. People go, wow, it shaped you in such a great way. No, I hated it. I hated every second. You know what I hated the most is that my wife felt helpless and there was nothing I could do about how she felt. All I could do was get up every day. I couldn't take that away. That's what bothered me the most. It wasn't me. It was her. Seeing her all upset. I couldn't imagine going through that every day with my spouse on the other end of that. All of you guys acting like toddlers in my comments, man, grow up. I don't come out here for me. I come out here for you guys. So do what you want to do. I don't care if you buy my stuff or not. I care that at least you make a damn good decision and stop going down this stupidity line and going, oh, I'm just going to do this because everybody else does it. How about you just do it because it makes your body healthy? So Cardarine increases HDL massively, by the way, the good cholesterol, if you're wondering what that is. But it clears out the atherogenic LDL particles from the bloodstream. It protects against atherosclerosis. I could probably stop here and just go on with my day, and you guys have enough information to radically alter your life. Look at PPAR delta is intricately connected and linked to the circadian clock, the genes, the circadian rhythm clock that you have in your body. So it optimizes by doing this, by optimizing the metabolic flux. It realigns. Circadian rhythm is more than just sleep wake, you guys. It is when everything spills out to solve your problems. It's when the lymphatic system, the channels open up in your brain, it pressure washes your brain, right? The fibrillary tangles, like the tau tangles, right? The amyloid plaques, all that stuff. The metabolic waste gets flushed out. Cognitive decline is almost like non-existent because they just get in the ring and just take it all out. Like all of this stuff. Improving sleep quality and hormonal timing is one thing that PPAR delta, the Cardarine, does. Nature, the journal Nature, showed that PPAR delta deactivation to the upregulation of longevity-associated pathways, it linked it together, including those that mimic caloric restriction. So put all this together. Your system already is functioning with increased insulin sensitivity, increased good fat, good cholesterol, decreased bad cholesterol, loss in visceral fat, functional metabolism, switching from glycolytic to oxidative for muscle. Like, I could do this all day. This stuff is so good. And your energy goes through the roof. ATP production skyrockets because your little nuclear reactors are churning out fat yields of ATP all the time. So problem 2 is solved. Energy bankruptcy and mitochondrial problems, right? Those are solved. Now you look at the androgen issue, RAD 140 and Ostarine, right? So this is the selective builder. You have to choose which one you're going to use. So this is honestly address the elephant in the room because people are going to lose their mind when they hear this. Yes, they're suppressive. I'll say it again. Stop fast forwarding through my stuff. The catastrophic decline in androgens with age is almost unavoidable. It just becomes very aggressive if you're not doing anything about it. Low testosterone in men and women is not, the way it is right now is not a natural part of aging, not the way they've set it up. They've just normalized how it is. They're going to decline slightly, but not to the level. Like my grandma had more testosterone than most of the men right now. And I'm not kidding. It sounds funny, but it's the truth. It's not a natural part of aging the way they've labeled it. And you have to understand that. So guys need to pay attention to what's going on. It's a pathology linked to virtually every disease of civilization. The fear-mongering around testosterone is based on very outdated and correlative nonsense. I'll just go over some facts. Testosterone is not a dangerous friggin' male hormone. It is an essential anabolic and neuroprotective signaling molecule for both sexes, males and females. High physiological testosterone is armor. There's so many tests that prove it against disease. You know what the first thing they do when you have a prostate issue? They drop your testosterone. That's the dumbest thing they can do. Literally the polar opposite of what should be happening. I'll just leave it at that. And in fact, you know what? I get a lot of questions about that. Screw it. Let's go into it. So the narrative, this is because it drives me insane. The narrative that testosterone causes prostate cancer, holy shit, it is demolished by so many research papers. Dr. Abraham Morgentaler, this guy, he published studies in the Journal of Urology, proved testosterone therapy does not increase prostate cancer risk. In fact, it is protective. He proved this. Just look up the study yourself. I don't feel like going over the details. Prostate cancer growth is driven by estrogen, not testosterone. A healthy testosterone level supports overall prostate health. In women, androgens, those are precursors to estrogen. So more importantly, there's so many studies out there that show androgen receptor expression in breast tissue is associated with better differentiation, lower recurrence rates in breast cancer. Testosterone is a critical component of male and female health, protects bone density in women, muscle mass, libido. This stuff is so important. The problem with traditional testosterone is that it aromatizes to estrogen and then affects all tissues, including the prostate and the scalp. I'm bald, so it doesn't matter. RU 58841, by the way, is a great something. I don't care where you get it. I'm just saying, put on a nitrile glove and rub it on your head. It'll blow your mind what it does. But this is where a SARM like RAD 40 and Ostarine are a little more revolutionary. RAD 140, it has a very profound affinity for androgen receptors in muscle and bone tissue only, and very little affinity and activity at all for prostate and scalp tissue, which means it builds lean muscle mass and bone density with remarkable efficiency, by the way. Just look, like remarkable. No needles, man. In 2018, a study in the Journal of Pharmacology and Experimental Therapeutics highlighted its anabolic potency and the tissue selectivity that this has. It solves the problem of age-related sarcopenia and osteopenia directly, muscle loss and bone loss, without any systemic side effects of traditional androgens. That's it. Now, if you look at Ostarine, MK2866, right? It's a milder but exceptionally effective SARM, much more beneficial for women or people looking for a gentle introduction. It's highly selective for muscles and bones. Again, just like RAD 140. Exceptionally useful for combating the ravages and the destructive force of secondary hypogonadism, the shutdown of natural production caused by stress, poor diet, chemicals, inactivity. It provides the anabolic signal the body desperately needs to maintain the tissue integrity you need to stay healthy. Both RAD 140 and Ostarine solve the problem of androgen deficiency and tissue wasting that occurs that they've normalized as we age, which is not normal. Now, there is an inevitable suppression. I have to say this, okay? I have to check my clock here to make sure I'm on because I don't want to be late for my group. Matters. So here's the non-negotiable truth. Using RAD 140 or Ostarine will suppress your body's own production of gonadotropin-releasing hormone, GnRH. But it also suppresses LH, luteinizing hormone, follicle-stimulating hormone. This is temporary and manageable. It's not the same as taking testosterone cypionate or anything like that. Not even close. But the solution isn't to avoid these tools. It's to manage the transition. And I think this is where it becomes a little gray and washed out for people. And clomiphene citrate is such a powerful tool. It's going to mitigate, you have to look at what you're doing, and it's very mild. It's a selective estrogen receptor antagonist at the hypothalamus and the pituitary. By blocking the feedback of estrogen, it tricks your brain into pumping out massive amounts of the two things you need, LH and FSH, which is why you need to know the difference between primary and secondary hypogonadism, by the way, when you're deciding what you're doing, whether it's exogenous test or enclomiphene. Is it a management problem? Is it a factory problem? These are all very important things to know. Most people don't. But with this upregulation of LH and FSH, it restarts your natural testosterone production remarkably fast and very efficiently. 2014, International Journal of Endocrinology showed that enclomiphene very effectively restored testosterone levels in men with secondary hypogonadism. It is the off-ramp from a cycle, by the way, you guys. But it's also, so you could treat this like a quote-unquote cycle, but it's the off-ramp for a regular cycle even. But it ensures that you recover fully and you don't crash and trash everything you've done. You don't trash your system. 3 oral compounds used very strategically create a very synergistic defense against a lot of problems. MK677 fixes your metabolic and repair signaling problem, right? So insulin sensitivity and GH. Cardarine fixes your cellular energy production and lipid metabolism issues, so mitochondria and ATP. RAD140 and Ostarine fixes your structural integrity, the muscle and the power in the bone, and anabolic environment that you need. This directly counteracts the decay problems that are plaguing everybody: insulin resistance, inflammatory and energy failure problems, hormonal collapse. All of this stuff is rampant everywhere, and they're just pumping more drugs into you guys. The lie of modern medicine is that you need a different drug for every symptom. No, you don't. The truth is that you need to correct the just a few fundamental biological signals. That's all you have to do. And if it sounds easy, it's because it is. But easy doesn't sell. Like I said, I don't care where you get this stuff. I just care that you do something about the health that you are blessed with. You are given a gift, so do something with it. Long-term strategic use of these compounds is not cheating. I'm tired of people saying that. Then you know what? What is insulin? Cheating for your own stupid decisions for type 2 diabetes? I don't know. I can't get around that stuff because it bugs me. It's proactive biological maintenance. That's what this is. It's the difference between constantly repairing a crumbling wall and building a fortress that never crumbles in the first place. The research is irrefutable. And it is very plain and simple. Just most people don't put it together because they're being bombarded by pharmaceutical commercials. The power to own your health and not rent it from a white coat or a stethoscope or a pharmaceutical company is in, you have that. You have that. You can decide what to do with it. I'm just the guy that's giving you messages. The question is not whether or not something's going to work. It's really not. I'm a walking billboard for what works. You can decide to emulate me or not. I don't care. The question is whether or not you're going to do it. You're going to apply it. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this, man. That's it. I got to go. Never miss.